Hi, welcome to Talkin Business. I'm Joe Catrambone, CEO of the Stuart Martin County Chamber of Commerce, and it's my distinct pleasure, and it's going to be interesting, to have one of our outstanding members of the Stuart Martin County Chamber of Commerce and a community activist, and a guy that I guess you have your own show too, so it's kind of interviewing.
Who's going to interview who?
Yeah. So, but anyway, it'll be interesting, and I've been looking forward to this. I'm sure we'll have a lively conversation. One of the things I usually do, and so many people know Gary, but there's some people who don't. And so what I like to do with our guests is to ask them to give us a little background, how you got here, when you got here, to the Treasure Coast.
Yeah.
So,
Well, going back to what you said, there's a lot of people that know me, and there's a lot of people that don't know me. And one of my field managers, he tells everybody there's two types of people in this world, Joe. Those that know Gary Owen and those that don't know Gary Owen. So we're here to, those that don't know, we're here to introduce them to Gary Owen. So
that's pretty good.
So that goes to shout out to Mike Bourbon, one of my field managers. But yeah, so anyway, I'm originally from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I was born in Johnstown, and then we lived up in the Allegheny Mountains, up in a little town called Mineral Point. And on the map, you put a point of a pencil, and you still can't see you can't find the location. It was in the middle of nowhere. But it was an interesting time growing up. There was 5 of us in our family, and my dad worked in the coal company. My grandfather owned a coal mine, and so 5 of us living in a 2-story home in Mineral Point, Pennsylvania. My father was the sole provider, and he worked, from he was gone at the strip job before the sun came up, and after the sun came down, he was working, and so I got my work ethic from my father. But it was a hard time because he made very little money to support the family, but he did the best he could, and we lived in poverty probably most of our lives, which makes me appreciate everything that we have in life today because of that experience. So they moved to Florida in 1985. I stayed behind for a year. I went to my grandparents' house in Ohio to take care of my grandparents. My uncle was in a wheelchair. He was ailing, and my grandmother was. So I spent a year with them before I moved to Florida in Stuart. So I've been here since 1986, and now for the last 36 years, been trying to bear the heat of the summer months. And as long as I've been here for 36 years, it's still hard for me to get used to that hot, beaming sun.
Well, I'm from Jersey originally, but I spent a couple of years in Pennsylvania, Clark Summit, northwest of Scranton.
Okay,
Between Scranton and Binghamton, New York.
Yeah.
I loved it up there. I love Pennsylvania.
It's a great state, great keystone state. The only thing that's not great are the winters and the roads. Pothole state of the world. It's brutal. I mean, you could lose a car in Pennsylvania potholes.
Well, listen, I've said for years, anything north of Vero is too far north.
I agree. Yep.
That's the frost line's Vero, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's right. Yep. So I think we're in the great spot. I mean, the reason why my parents moved here back in '85 was my grandparents lived here. My grandfather owned a home on Overlook Drive on the river. So they were coming down for years, and we come down on vacations, and it was time to, make that move. And when I graduated high school, and they thought I was going to come down with them, but I surprised them when I went, to Ohio.
Yeah.
But it was a good experience, and I'm glad I had some time with my grandparents and my uncle on my paternal side. So I moved in '86 and started. I worked as a truck driver for a Gorman company, a plumbing well, pool and irrigation company, and then got promoted to the ranks and got into sales. And then after that, I went to the police academy and did that for about 4 years. The salary at the time in the late '80s and early '90s was about $18,500 a year. We got paid once a month, and so there was always too much month at the end of the paycheck. And even after working all the special details and your shifts that you picked up, it was rough.
So were you a deputy?
Yeah, I was
for Martin County.
I was a reserve deputy in Martin County, and then I was a deputy in St. Lucie County for a short while as well. So I'm glad for that experience, to be on both sides of the law.
Yeah.
And one real quick story where it really paid off, where I got pulled over by a Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy driving on 995, and you know how they drive in the middle lane and nobody has the cojones to pass a marked patrol deputy. Well, me, I mean, I'm still within a mile of the speed limit, so I passed him. And sure as my luck would have it, I saw the blue lights, and he threw out a cigarette and he pulled me over. It's called a 1050 stop. So I asked him, so Deputy so-and-so, what was your probable cause for your 1050 stop? So the look in his face knew that he was in trouble. So I called, I said, I'd like to have your supervisor 1056 or meet with us at a traffic stop. But he couldn't meet, so he called me later, and I apologize. He knew me from Martin County. I apologize, Gary, and we'll put him in remedial training. It won't happen again. So those kinds of experiences paid off,
Yeah, that's a good story.
And then I owned I had a flooring company. So my dad also was working for Martin County. So he retired from the sheriff's office, and then he came to work for me in the flooring industry. So I was in the wholesale distribution, and then opened up a retail installation company. And then what happened in 2007 and 2008? We were just gearing up. We were working with a lot of builders in the area, doing the installations for all the flooring for over a dozen builders. Of course, the builders don't like to pay on time, typically 90 to 120 days. But so when
and then they discount the bill.
And they discount the bill. And it really discounted when when the market went to heck. I mean, we lost everything. And that was a humbling experience. And that is when in 2000 and late 07, early 08, I got into the insurance industry. And man, I tell you, I haven't looked back. It's been a great experience so far.
Why insurance? I mean, you went from a whole different.
Well, I couldn't be a gigolo, Joe. So I mean, I had to do that. So the next best thing to do was go insurance. No, actually, a friend of mine, he was in insurance a couple years, and he said, Gary, you should take a look at this, and it's a good opportunity. So I did, and I jumped in with both feet. It's not for the faint of heart. I mean, it's a lot of work, and that business owns you, and you've got to own that business. If you approach it like it's a part-time job or you're just doing it to earn extra income, you're not going to be successful at it. So, we worked day and night at it, and it took me 3 years to finally get to the point where I was making 6 figures income. So I think a lot of people fail in this industry. And by the way, the attrition rate in the insurance industry on the life and health side is 93%. So meaning that 93% fell within the first 2 years. So it is a tough industry, and I think the two biggest reasons why agents fail in the industry is there's a lack of mentorship. Sky high expectations because they see other people making big money and they think they can do it their first year, and it just doesn't happen. So and lack of professionalism. So I think those are the key things why people fail in this industry. But if you apply yourself, it's a great industry, and to work for yourself. I used to work for a Medicare carrier as well. I did that for almost 7 years. So again, having that experience and being on both sides of the fence, being a national independent agency representing Medicare, life, health, and disability, and long-term care and annuities, but having that experience on the corporate side really helped me and then honed my skills and helped me to get where I'm at today. And now we have over 350 independent agents working with our agency now in the state of Florida.
So you didn't just get your license and open your agency.
No.
So you worked for a couple of different agencies?
Yeah, so I worked for AIG as a career agent with them, Mutual of Omaha in the Medicare space. I worked for them for a year. AIG was for 2 years. 3 years I was a career agent. Then I realized, wow, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table by not being an independent agent and by being a captive agent or a career agent. So finally grew a set of brains and then left the career side and went independent. Started contracting with the different carriers, and one of the carriers came out of the gate writing a lot of business, and they approached me and said, we'd like to invite you to one of our workshops coming up in Orlando. So I drove to Orlando, and they couldn't believe that I actually showed up from Stewart to Orlando. But if I give my word, my commitment, I'm going to be there. That's just who I am. That's how I was raised, and that's exactly why you're successful. So he liked what I had to say, and he took me to lunch, the vice president of the company, and then went through the interview process, and there was a lot of candidates. A couple other interviews happened, and then I got the job. So that's how that happened.
I was a senior in college, and at that time, I don't know if they do it anymore, they would recruit you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a session in Livingston, New Jersey, and I was recruited there were recruiters from Metropolitan Life, Pitney Bowes, and IBM. So I really liked the IBM thing, but I would have had to move to Endicott, New York. And Metropolitan Life offered me $75 a month more than Pitney Bowes. So I went to work for Metropolitan Life.
Interesting. How long did that last you?
About 5 years. But that insurance test was the hardest test I ever took in my life.
Yeah.
I think it took it twice.
And
I probably just squeaked by the second time.
Thankfully, I passed mine the first time. And, now it's a 60-hour course today. So insurance agents today that want to get into the industry, they got to take a 60-hour course, study, and do the prep exams, and then take it. But and I think that it's a good opportunity. Still today, the opportunity is there. But again, I would say, if you're interested in getting in the insurance industry, make sure you do your due diligence, ask questions, make sure you find the right mentorship, and don't just take the first opportunity that you see, because there's a lot of scammers out there and shysters out there who will give you the wrong contract, put you in a certain contract where they own your commissions. And most agents, like when you get into the industry, you don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. So, when it comes to recruiting agents and working with agents, I'm very transparent with them. This is what you expect to make your first year. This is what you expect to do. And, it's up to you whether or not you think you can do it. But we're here to, provide you the support that you need.
Well, when I went to work for them at that time, I don't even know, it's been so many years ago, you had a route. They didn't call it a route, but you had a book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you went...
You were a debit agent?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to collect a 30-cent a week premium, I mean, I inherited
knocking on doors and collecting premiums.
30 cents a week or stuff like that. So what?
Oh, that's interesting.
So at the time, Metropolitan had offered, it was a new program called MIC, Metropolitan Insurance Consultant. So they took the debit book away from me. They gave you an office in a local area office, and you had a little cubicle in there, and you made phone calls trying to sell.
Sure.
Okay. And so at the time, the E30s was a big thing. We had a one-page sheet on E30, and showed how many years you put in, and you doubled your money after all this.
Oh, sure.
So I sold the hell out of that.
Absolutely.
But after I ran out of all my friends and classmates,
now you had to really prospect.
yeah, and I wanted to play. I didn't want to work. So that was the end of my career.
Well, 5 years experience, that was good though.
Well, I went with them. I went from them to New York Life. So I worked for New York Life for Metropolitan 3 years in New York Life.
Sure, yeah, and they're still today good, strong companies.
Yeah,
very good.
One of the only things I remember, caveat emptor.
Yes.
That's not the only thing I remember.
Yes, and again, I mean, what you learn, in that 60-hour course, 95% of it you're never going to use in the real world, Joe. So you just got to put your Nike shoes on and just do it. I mean, that's what you got to do in the industry. So
we talked, had lunch, I guess, a few months ago, and we were talking about one of the biggest issues forever has been group insurance.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, and so I know that you and I met and we had lunch and we talked about it, and you offered a program that gave the employer the ability to give the employee an opportunity to buy lower premium insurance. How did that work? Whatever came about that?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten on that email campaign. We didn't really get any calls on that, but we still get, we still have our clients that Google us, and we're doing Google ad campaigns and Facebook ad campaigns about group insurance, because I think there's a lot of small businesses out there in our community and out throughout the state of Florida and quite frankly the country that need to retain their employees. And the way to do that is to offer benefits and health insurance. So that is a big thing for employees, is to have health insurance. So, we represent all the carriers, but there's one specific, now two specific carriers that will underwrite a policy, and depending on the claims for that year, there's different buckets of money where those premiums go in. But in the claims bucket, if the claims don't exceed the premiums paid, the employer gets half of those premiums back at the end of the year. So it's a win-win for the employees because they're covered with health insurance. It's a win-win for the employer if they keep the employees healthy and have less claims at the end of the year. And so that works very well. One of my clients last year had a $10,000 check given back to him at the end of his annual term. So it's a great opportunity. It doesn't cost anything to inquire what the cost would be to group. We do all the heavy lifting. We do all the research. We'll find the best plan for our employers and work with them closely. And because I know what it takes to run a business, I know the importance of having health insurance and having your employees and having them stay loyal to you. And the best way is to offer benefits, health insurance being one of the most important things.
I want to talk a little bit about the change in mindset of the workforce we're dealing with today.
Okay.
Eons ago, I mean, my dad was my dad. He came from that greatest generation. He's my father. And it was important for me because of his tutoring of me that you looked at life insurance and retirement and health insurance. And from what I'm seeing from the generations that came after me, it's not important to them. Am I right on that, or?
Yeah, I mean, the statistics today, it's appalling to me that only 46% of Americans have life insurance. Those that do have it don't have enough of it. And so I think there's a big misconception, Joe, out there that life insurance is too expensive. They don't know who to call. And I think that we have seen, since the pandemic, we've seen an uptick in life insurance sales, obviously because of the pandemic. But yet there's still, unfortunately, tons of people that need life insurance. If you have a family, and I think everybody should have life insurance. Everybody, I believe, should have life insurance. And there's different reasons why you should have life insurance. But that's why, at the end of my initials, you see, after Gary Owen, you see LUTCF. I'm a graduate of the American College, and I earned a Life Underwriting Training Council Fellow. And what that means is that less than 10% of insurance agents throughout the United States have that designation and additional training, education, and experience. So I bring that to the Treasure Coast, that skill set, and to me, there's a two-pronged approach when dealing with life insurance. So so besides the health insurance, the individual and the group, we specialize in life insurance, which I really am passionate about because I've seen what it does to families when you don't have life insurance, Joe, and I've seen the joys where one of my clients in Port St. Lucie passed away as a business owner, and thank God he listened to me. And after finally about 4 missed appointments, I don't give up. I'm very persistent that way, and you've got to be in this industry, as you well know. But finally, because he was a busy guy, he owned a lawn maintenance company here in St. Lucie County. So on Father's Day 3 years ago, they went to church. They came back from church, and he was in the shower and had a massive heart attack at the age of 47. Oof. And then his wife called me that night. The next evening, she had broken English, couldn't speak very well English. And was crying and sobbing, and I said, listen, I'll have someone from my office call you who speaks English, so I speak Spanish. So we finally, I helped her file a claim, and it changed her life. I mean, they had 2 children. She was able to maintain the business, help her kids to stay in school, keep the home. So life insurance is important in protecting your family, number one. Also helps you in mortgage protection. If you have a mortgage, something happens, pays the mortgage. And for retirement, it's another opportunity to have a bucket of income for income planning and for retirement planning.
And it's always interesting, especially a debit agent. I try to talk to, and you're always dealing with the wife, with the woman, because the husband's out working.
Yep.
And you try to make, you earn the debit agent.
No, I have many friends who were, and I've heard many stories.
So I had to work on the wife. Let's talk to your husband about insurance. You have life insurance. No. Well, let's talk to the husband. Well, the husband don't care less.
Poo it. Yeah. Absolutely.
So it was always, the wife is there. Yeah. The husband doesn't want to write the check.
Exactly.
But it does not surprise me. What did you say? 47% only 47% have life insurance?
Yes, in the country.
And unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me, because the other 53%, they don't care. They don't care. They don't.
I think that's a big part of it, Joe. They don't care, or they're too busy to take a look at it. Or three, they don't trust somebody enough to talk to about those finances and opportunities. And they just don't know who to turn to. So, and they think it's too expensive. I mean, I'll tell you that for a 35, 40-year-old individual, for $250,000, for less than a cup of coffee a day, you can have a great life insurance policy. People put emphasis on their cars, their homes, and other trinkets and toys more so than their life and their quality of life and their health.
To me, it was always important that I had my mortgage covered.
Yes.
That any debt that we may have that be covered. If I were to die, that the house would be paid off. My kids would go away. That was important to me.
Absolutely.
I don't want my wife struggling with my kids, or my kids struggling. So that was important. But I think that was probably my dad's mentoring, and his lifestyle.
Yep.
And so that was, was very important to me. And one time, I'll never forget, my mother of all people, we were talking about life insurance. She said, "Why are you carrying that much life insurance?" I said, "What did you ask me?" I couldn't believe, but it was, maybe she was surprised at how much money I owed on my house.
Well, again, a lot of it has to do with ignorance. I mean, they just don't know. And then life insurance isn't what it was in your day, Joe. I mean, like today now, there are life insurance carriers that have living benefits in the policy. So you don't have to die to use your life insurance policy. So the chances of a 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old having a critical or chronic illness is a lot higher than dying, obviously, in those years.
Oh, gosh.
So to have a life insurance policy that will pay you while you're still alive in case you have, let's say, a heart attack or a stroke, right? Or cancer or something like that, to pay you while you're still alive to get you through those life situations.
Yeah, and one of the things, I don't know if it was a mistake or not, I regret it now, I think about it, that I wanted the most bang for my bucks, so I bought term insurance. When you term insurance, you throw it away. It's done. Whereas now I realize the 30 years I was paying into term insurance, I could have had a little nest egg.
That's right.
So
remember earlier I said there's a two-pronged approach for my insurance planning, life insurance planning.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head. So you need to have term insurance. You got to have term insurance to cut, because you can buy vast amounts, a face amount of term insurance for a little bit of money, right? So if I said to you, to our listening audience, if you were to give me a penny and I gave you $10, would you say that's a great deal? Absolutely it is, right? And that's exactly what life insurance does for you. So having vast amounts of life insurance to cover the debt, cover your mortgage, and also take care of your family, because now you're down an income earner. So now how many years you've got to project that you've got to take care of that household and that family for those years. And then on the other side, build a nest egg with your whole life policy or your indexed universal life policy that builds up. So, so I can show you illustrations where you pay that policy for 10, 15, 20 years, stop paying the premiums, and then maybe 10 years down the road, take all that money back that you paid into that policy, get 100% of your premiums back, and you still have a death policy in place for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
This is what we do. It's out there. It's affordable. You just got to contact our office and just get a free assessment. It doesn't cost anything to ask questions.
And take it from someone who knows the story I just told. They paid 30 or 40 years into a term policy, got nothing. if I was paying that into a whole life or even an endowment, whatever it might
Absolutely,
be,
sure.
I would have a retirement estate today.
Absolutely. You could be drawing money from that account.
Yeah.
I'll ask a little trivia question for you.
All right. I'm pretty good at sports trivia.
Okay, well, this is not sports. This is still insurance. We're still on the insurance side. So, for term insurance, what is the amount of the population who buys term insurance that doesn't pay out? So, in other words, out of 100% of term insurance that's purchased, how much is actually paid out?
Probably less than 10%.
Okay, can you be more specific?
5%.
2%. So
Really?
good job, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So 2%. So that tells you if you are on a term life insurance policy that most likely you're either
Thank God
going
you're never going to use it.
yeah, you're not going to, well, you're probably going to stop paying the premium because you said, oh, I'm never going to use this. Or your term comes up, whether it's a 10, 20, 30-year term, your term expires, and now you want to renew a life insurance policy, and now you're too old, A, or B, you can't qualify because you have pre-existing health conditions. Talk to a professional, whether it's us or whoever it is that you have a relationship with and someone you trust in the insurance industry that has experience, and get some good counsel from somebody.
And listen, folks, it's an investment. It's not only protection,
Right.
but it's an investment.
Sure, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then,
And really, where can you get that kind of return?
Oh,
on investment?
come on,
You can't.
man.
You can't.
Those of us who are in the industry love it because we know what it does. And we know the performance of it, and there are so many people that are, they buy life insurance. Like I had a client in 2 days ago. He just moved up to Martin County. He was eating at Key West Diner, and he saw our office. He walked in. I need some help with his retirement and life insurance and Medicare. So he has life insurance. So, well, let me see what you got. And here it ended up being, we found out later that it was just an AD&D, accident insurance, accidental death. It wasn't true life insurance. And he thought he was paying $40 a month for this crap.
And he had to get killed by a car or something.
So, or a boulder run him over, So
that would be double.
It's amazing. So, for those of you that have life insurance, if you want a free assessment of what you have, we can do that too. We don't charge for our services. So I think it's important that there's transparency in what you do in your working relationship with your advisor, and know what you have and know the destination and the journey along the way, because you don't want to be short-sighted knowing that you bought a policy, and let's say that it's a whole life policy or a universal life policy or an IUL policy, and then 10 years down the road, the cost of insurance is so high and you're not paying enough premiums, and now the life insurance policy lapses and they have no idea that was going to happen. So these are the pitfalls that you can fall into if you don't work with the right agent.
Yeah, so it's like dealing with your broker, your
Right.
investment broker.
Yep.
So one more thing to hit on that, and I'm a true believer, because I'm experiencing it. I got money sitting in a CD. I'm getting what 2%. You got money
Love it.
sitting in a banking account, 0.5%.
Yeah. If you're lucky.
Yeah. I
If you're lucky.
It's incredible. It's incredible what the dividends pay on insurance policy.
Yep.
It's an investment.
Absolutely.
It's an investment.
And then to piggyback on that, so many people today are losing money in their 401ks. I mean, we see what's happening.
I
It's
got
disgusting.
chills.
We
I
talked
got
to another
chills.
one yesterday, and he's retiring. He's 64. He's about to retire. His 401k is down 30%, and now he's sweating it, right? So, I always say to my clients who come in, and we talk about Medicare planning, and what are you doing with your 401k? We know that your investment advisor, and hopefully you have one, did a good job in building your nest egg. Now it's up to us, it's up to me and my team to protect your nest egg. And so there's a product called a fixed indexed annuity where you'll never lose your money. I mean, you participate in the upswing of the stock market, but you won't lose it when it's down 10, 20, 30, 40%. And so now you have a lifetime. You know what makes people happy in retirement, Joe, besides interviewing Gary Owen? Is
freedom of
lifetime income, right? Lifetime income, knowing that you have lifetime income that will never dry up, and that's what fixed indexed annuities do, and we do that as well. I do a lot of things. You know, I'm a jack of all trades. I think I'm instead of say LUTCF, I should say JOT, jack of all trades.
Well, you know, this has not been a paid commercial for the insurance business. I mean, I truly believe in what I just said, and I had no idea we were going there, but I really truly believe in it, if you don't have insurance, I don't understand.
It's the bedrock. It's the foundation of retirement planning.
Yeah.
You've got to have the right insurance policies in place, and even disability insurance. You know, for those of you that are working, I always say that if you don't have disability insurance, man, you are a ticking time bomb, because you've got to protect your most important investment, Joe, and that is your ability to earn an income. If something happened to you and you can't work and now you have no income coming in, what the heck are you going to do? So again, these are the things that I'm passionate about, that I love helping people. And they're, again, I mean, you see all these crazy TV commercials. We see Joe Namath and J.J. Walker, now William Shatner. I mean, he needs to be back on the Star Trek show. But it's a shame, because they are misleading people about Medicare. And again, my biggest advice, no matter what it is, whether it's Medicare, life, health, disability, long-term care, annuities, don't listen to a TV commercial. Don't make a decision based on a TV celebrity or a spokesperson. Seek out an independent professional who can give you unbiased information and education.
Call the number. It's free.
It's free, yeah, right? Oh, my God. Well, check your zip code and see how much money we can give you. Oh, my God. I'm going to slap them. But I digress. You're gonna get my blood pressure worked up. There's a doctor in the house. Is there any coffee in here? I mean,
that'll raise it. Yeah. Okay, we miss anything you want to talk about?
Well, you know, you asked me, what do you want to talk about when we first came in the room, and I'm like, we should talk about you a little bit, Joe. So, the one question I wanted to ask you is, you know, how did you get so handsome? Where'd that come from?
Must be in the jeans. I wear Wranglers.
The jeans. And by the way, thanks for letting me wear your necktie today, too. I appreciate it. It's on borrow. Yeah. It looks good, though. I hope everyone likes my necktie. That's actually Joe's necktie, but it's on borrow. So we appreciate you very much, Joe. And thank you so much for all that you're doing, too, with the Chamber and supporting local businesses. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. From my heart. I mean, you work hard, and we appreciate that. And we recognize you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you very much. Thanks for having me on your wonderful show.
And we'll see you soon.
All right, we'll see you soon indeed. Okay. Take care. See you, everybody.